appearance on Fox's The Five, Tucker Carlson weighed in on the possibility of having Democrats on his show, and he claims that they're not in favor of coming on his program. Democrats hate coming on his program. They ignore him like the plague. Why? Well, he explains in this next clip.
You've obviously interviewed a ton of fascinating people, both sides of the aisle. Who would you most like to interview again if they would take your call?
Oh gosh, that's such a great question. There's so many people. I mean, honestly, I'd like to interview anybody in Democratic leadership. I'd like to interview a Democratic congressman. No one will talk to me. No one will come on the show. You're a white supremacist. We're not talking to you. Really? No, I'm not. I just have different ideas from you. Why are you calling me names? It's not even real. Just come on and talk to me like a normal human being. You and I talk all the time, have for a long time. We disagree. It's not that hard, it's fun. But they won't come on.
We definitely disagree. And most of the time it is fun. I'll talk to my people, I'll try to get you a congressman.
Well, look, I don't think we need to adjudicate his white supremacist status. I think it's abundantly clear in the way that he talks about immigrants, the way he talks about black people, the way he even talks about just poor people. I mean, he calls immigrants dirty. Like yeah, he's a white supremacist. Like we don't even need to debate that.
Well, I mean, today I don't think we're doing this video. He's in the news for going on some other Fox show and talking about how Democrats are importing violent criminals to change the demographics of America. That's just the great replacement thing. So we don't need to make the case he's a white supremacist. He eagerly does it every single day.
But let's also be clear about the type of Democrat or the type of person he likes to have on his show who to the general public is perceived as someone who doesn't agree with Tucker Carlson. No, he has people on his show specifically to bolster his arguments. He doesn't have people on his show to disagree with him. And whenever he does have people on his show who do disagree with him, he cuts the interview short. We've seen it happen over and over again.
Rutger Bregman.
Yeah.
I believe, if I remember his name. He came on. He disagreed with Tucker. He was so articulate and so effective in his disagreement that he has never been invited back. And I don't believe they actually aired the interview. I think it had to be released by Rutger Bregman. I can remember that wrong. But no, if you don't help him to accomplish his goals, you do not get invited back. It's as simple as that. Now, with someone like a Democratic congressman or a senator, maybe because they're big enough, he would do it. Maybe like clout chasing or whatever. But he doesn't operate in good faith, and he is a white supremacist. So look, he can laugh that off as a bad reason to not go on. He can say, like, you're calling me names. He doesn't call people names. Call Kamala Harris by her actual name once, honestly. Like and then the crazy laugh. It actually made me feel a little bit better because sometimes he'll script in laughs, like awkward, weird laughs when he comes back from videos. No, that's actually as crazy as he sounds. Yeah, it's honest.
Yeah. Well, why don't we go to the next video, which can get us a better idea on who his following really is.
Who I think is a much better figure. He's certainly more intelligent.
This is Richard Spencer, one of the most notorious white supremacists in the country.
He at least has a kind of open-mindedness in a way that Bill Riley never would.
Spencer isn't the only professional racist giddy about Tucker's show. Here's David Duke, former Grand Wizard of the KKK, tweeting, "God bless Tucker Carlson." And here's the white supremacist website Daily Stormer calling Tucker literally our greatest ally. So what the hell is going on here? Why are white supremacists so excited about Tucker Carlson?
Well, you know what? I would love to answer that question. And our wonderful producer, Shwarya, has put together this fun compilation that can answer it for you. Let's take a look.
Yes, white supremacy is America's biggest problem. And as we've noted many times before, we still don't know, despite fervent and sincere efforts to find out, what a white supremacist is. But the whole thing is a lie. If you were to assemble a list, a hierarchy of concerns, of problems this country faces, where would white supremacy be on the list? Right up there with Russia, probably. It's actually not a real problem in America. Two defendants, Lisa Eisenhart and her son, Eric Munchell, should face indefinite detention. Now, neither Lisa Eisenhart nor her son damaged any property at the Capitol or committed any violence. They just walked in to what we used to refer to as the People's House. The Democratic Party is trying to replace the current electorate, the voters now casting ballots, with new people, more obedient voters from the third world. But they become hysterical because that's what's happening, actually. Let's just say it, that's true. What's happening at the border is not a crisis. A crisis is a flood in Bangladesh. It's an act of God. This is an intentional act. This is the administration bringing felons, violent criminals, into our country on purpose. Why would you do something like that? Only to destroy it.
He's such a garbage person. Floods in Bangladesh, it's an act of God. I mean, I guess he's trying to say it's not something that was controlled by humans, except, I mean.
He's trying to imply that, sort of a natural outgrowth of the past few decades of our foreign policy in Latin America leading to people trying to emigrate into our country is somehow something Nancy Pelosi cooked up a couple months ago, I guess.
He thinks that allowing immigrants into the country is something that Democrats want because they're looking for obedient voters from the third world. No, I'm sure, he's not a white supremacist at all. No, is white supremacy a problem in the country at all? I mean, it's right up there with Russiagate, right? I can kind of understand why he has Glenn Greenwald on a regular basis.
Yeah, look, the thing is, Biden, whether because he actually ideologically is similar to the Republicans on immigration or because he stupidly thinks it will lead to them supporting him a little bit more, has continued many of the, not all, but many of the policies of the Trump administration when it comes to immigration. And yet they're still saying that he is trying to replace white voters with the immigrants who he is deporting in mass numbers. If that's your actual strategy, you're doing a bad job of it when you keep sending out your obedient voters that you're having shipped over via Amazon.
So far, Biden's immigration policy has not differed from Trump's. It hasn't. The only difference is that he's not turning away unaccompanied minors. Not because it was his decision, but because federal judges said that he couldn't turn them away. So that's really the only difference. And again, that difference is based on what federal judges are forcing the Biden administration to do. So I give you that not to reward Biden. I completely disagree with what Biden's doing right now, especially given the fact that he campaigned on how cruel and brutal the Trump administration was on asylum seekers. And then he turned around and did the exact same thing that Trump was doing. Anyway.
Look, I think you're 100% right. There's a great compilation by Ashwarya. Look, if some of the, I don't even know if he's being honest about asking them to come on and them not coming on. I don't know, maybe it's true. And I'm not even necessarily saying you can't go on there. If you want to go on there to disagree vehemently with him and call him out for all of his anti-democratic, xenophobic nonsense, you can do that. That is the only reason one should go on. And honestly, if he doesn't ban you, then you're probably not doing your job. Rucker Bregman demonstrated that. So if AOC wanted someday to go on there, I don't necessarily think it's a good idea, but she's free to do that. And I'm sure she would do it for that reason. But you're under no obligation to go on just because he has a show. It is a white nationalist, white supremacist show. That's the point of it. That's its agenda. And you don't have to lend your clout to it.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you on that. And look, I also agree that if you're actually given an opportunity to debate or disagree, cool. I actually think that would be a good opportunity for people who disagree with him to go on and expose his audience to a different perspective. But that is not what we see on Tucker Carlson's show. Every time, I mean, he does the typical maneuver that Fox News tends to do, which is, let's give you an example, a black person on to say awful things about the black community. Let's have a woman on to say awful things about feminists. That's what he does. Let's have someone posing as a leftist on to go after AOC. That's what we see over and over again. That is his play. Sorry about that, say it, don't spray it. That is what he likes to do, but I have never seen him appreciate a guest who has a different opinion. He loves to cut those guests off, and he loves to have people on who only further bolster whatever garbage opinion he's trying to share with his audience on any given night.
Yeah, maybe it'll change, we'll see.
Doubt it.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that All you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.